Hello, everybody. I told you we're back, and yes, we are going back into Dragon Ball Super Volume 2. Those who might be wondering why I'm not just reading all Dragon Ball and then going into Super, twofold reasons, though I think I've kind of explained it in the air video. I have already watched all of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and Dragon Ball GT, even though I know GT is not canon. So I didn't see a real reason I needed to read the mangas first, even though there is a difference. It's not like an egregious difference, like, oh, Cell ended up getting defeated by Goku or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I think I wouldn't be remiss for reading the mangas at the same time I'm reading Dragon Ball Super mangas. Though I am reading the Dragon Ball Super mangas before I'm watching Dragon Ball Super, the anime, just because it's kind of been my thing lately. It's like, if I can read a manga, I'm going to go ahead and read it first. Because, let's just face it, from what I've heard, there is some good and bad with Dragon Ball Super, at least in terms of the anime. Because the manga, especially the second volume, which is the end of the World 6 and World 7 tournament arc, it is fucking good. It it's hard to just sit there and do anything but just want to heap praise after praise after praise upon this. But I do love the fact that, much like with the last one, this pretty much ends a mini arc that was a lot larger in the anime, but I'm not going to get into that. But it ends that and it begins going into the next arc by the end of the final chapter or two. Now, of course, the World 6 and 7 tournament, the big focus of this is just the fight between, I can't remember, the not-Frieza character. Oh, Jesus, it's going to bug me now. I can't remember its name. No. In fact, it even just says it looks like Frieza. I want to call him Chill or something like that. But I think that's from Dragon Ball Z Abridged. I don't know. But those who are wondering, it's just that guy right there. That it turns out that also was cheating because they had a little thing that they would poke people with and would paralyze them and try to say, "Oh, it's part of me," and then they were able to remove it. It was a little thing they had, and it was disqualifying them and allowing Goku to come back because in the first volume, Goku actually got eliminated thanks to this person. Although it was kind of refreshing to see Vegeta just beat the fuck out of him. And of course, then we get introduced to or we actually truly get to see the main guy from World 6, and that, of course, is Hit. Hit is exactly what Dragon Ball's kind of been needing. It's a hitman, for lack of a better way to put it, and he is just a utter badass. He has pretty much an ability, it's called time skip. He can pretty much skip forward just a few seconds. And it gets a little bit slower and slower the more he consistently uses it, just because it wears him out real quickly. But here, because obviously, like, a few seconds, especially for somebody as powerful as this, it could mean the end of the world. It's somebody who can then, oh, I'm going to just beat the piss out of you in the meantime. And only that, but I've known plenty of people brought it up before. It's actually interesting that Dragon Ball finally introduced a character that can mess with time. It's something that's never really been hit upon, with the exception of Goldo from the Ginyu Force, where he was able to technically freeze time around him, but it was all dependent upon him holding his breath. Here, it feels a lot more interesting. It feels a lot better done, for lack of a better way to put it. And not only that, but Hit is a much more interesting looking character. Also, he's all purple. How else are you going to go wrong with that? And of course, you get to see him and Goku have a big battle. And actually, Goku ends up letting Hit win because he wants to see the power of this other guy who Beerus actually pretty much says, like, oh no, it's like, I brought him just because, I wanted. It's like I wanted them to think that there's something there, but it's like, no, it's pretty much had to cover up for the fact that Boo wasn't even able to join up. And also, it's hilarious that Hit lets this guy push him out It's just the funniest thing ever because Hit is such an uber serious character that it's like, okay, well, it's strange that he would just let that, but it's like, okay, he's doing it because he's at least got his own, for lack of a better way to put it, he has his own moral ground that he will not give up upon. Sure, he's not above killing people, he's not above, winning, but he's not just going to outright overclass his opponent just because he can. He's not just going to beat up on an inferior creature in his eyes. It's interesting to watch Hit, and I'm actually curious to see more of him, fighting. And then, of course, we move on to the next arc at the end of the end of this volume. That's talking about Goku Black, which is actually what he is dubbed by Trunks, the future Trunks. Those who wondering, yes, the same future Trunks from the Cell Saga. And I gotta admit, it's character's actually kind of fucking scary at times. He's actually really kind of terrifying. And not only that, but I would be remiss if I do not mention one thing and that has always been just a or just a source of this manga, just like the other one, is gorgeous to look at. The characters are very detailed. The backgrounds are so full of everything that you would expect. It's like, oh, look, there's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's obvious that the artist of this, because it's not Akira Toriyama, it's just his characters, and he sort of writes a story, though. If I'm mistaken, the art, I can't pronounce it. Toyotaro, I believe is how it's pronounced. Hands down, one of the best artists currently working, I would say, on a mainstream manga. I say a mainstream manga just because there might be better, no offense, there might be better artists that are working on an indie thing. Yeah, I'm covering all my tracks here, guys. But yeah, there is so much gorgeous artwork throughout this. The characters are just detailed enough. And on top of everything, it feels Dragon Ball. That's the best thing that this has going for it. Like, nobody can ever sit there and claim that, oh, this is totally doesn't feel like a Dragon Ball comic or doesn't feel like a Dragon Ball manga or anything. It's like, this feels so much like Dragon Ball. It's introducing newer concepts such as different universes. It deals more with time and shit like that. But I'm okay with Dragon Ball finally getting a little bit out of its shell. Where at first we had, magical villains, for lack of a better part, throughout the beginning of Dragon Ball. More importantly, speaking of Piccolo, or King Piccolo. Then we moved into aliens. Then we moved into androids. And then we moved into magical stuff again to kind of round off things. Kind of a weird going back to roots thing. Even though I thought the Boo arc also drove me fucking bonkers. Such a long arc. So fucking long it feels. But here, the fact that everything's been pretty much high concept sci-fi, it's felt so much more new to Dragon Ball than Dragon Ball's ever attempted. Like I said, the idea of dealing with time jumps and also universe jumps and stuff like that. Like I said, yes, Dragon Ball's delved with it, but it's always been like it sticks a toe in that pool. Here, it feels like it's actually whole hog jumping into it. It also introduces eventually later on, a interesting villain in a form that we will speak of once we get to Volume 3. But I actually, don't. Like, some people have issues with the villain. I personally don't. And not only that, but yeah, Goku Black should be something that should be super silly, something kind of almost dumb and too easy of an idea. It works just perfect, I believe, here. It actually feels like this is a character who is, truly the epitome of what would almost have happened if Goku had not, bumped his head when he was a kid and pretty much made himself stupid. So I'll take that. Not only that, but it's awesome to see Goku just be as ruthless as Goku probably could be. Mind you, an evil alternate history version, but evil alternate history version in and of itself. So, yeah, would I recommend this? Hell yeah, I'd recommend it. Hell, I would recommend this to people who are not fans of Dragon Ball. I think that the first and second volume, you don't really need to read a ton about the characters. It helps, but I think seeing their actions alone and their dialogue that they have with one another and also with others throughout the world, I think that provides enough of a backdrop to understanding it's like what the fuck is kind of happening and also who these people are that you don't really need to read the older Akira Toriyama stories. Would it help? Yeah, I think it would help, but I don't think it's a need. I think it's more of just a want to help kind of flesh some things out a little more. Otherwise, go go pick this up. This is really damn good. It looks gorgeous. It's a hell of a lot of fun, and it doesn't feel flabby, for lack of a better way to put it. It's not like me. It just never feels like it's sitting there taking its time to try and tell stories. It's like, no, it's going forward. It's like, all right, let's get this done. Let's do this, man. And I enjoyed the fuck out of that because of it. So, yeah, all the thumbs up. This is fucking fantastic. Go pick up Dragon Ball Super Volume 2. And I enjoyed the hell of it. The biggest problem I could ever say, if you want to give me a negative, or want me to give a negative about this, I wish the tournament arc was almost a little bit more longer so I could see more action. Oh darn, I want more of some of a good thing. How is this so terrible? But hey, that's my feelings on Dragon Ball Super Volume 2. I think though we definitely need to get into something though that has a little bit of heroics it needs to deal with. So until then, I will see you all later. So bye bye everybody.